Do you know what makes a revolution successful? What happens after it? If there is an orderly transition, then great. If no, it's a slippery slope for any country. And Sri Lanka is at that stage right now. The acting president, Ranil Wickrenesinghe, has declared an emergency. He has given two reasons for it. One, to maintain public order, and two, to protect essential supplies. Now, the emergency is a controversial policy everywhere in the world, and that's the same with Sri Lanka. Under an emergency, normal laws are suspended. Only constitutional provisions are upheld. What does that mean? It means the police can arrest protesters without cause. They can use force to contain the public. You can see why it's a slippery slope. Only the president can impose an emergency in Sri Lanka. The parliament must approve it within 14 days. If not, the emergency expires after 1 month. And that's a long time, 1 month. Sri Lanka's government was toppled over one weekend. So imagine what could happen in 1 month. Which is why the opposition has criticized this move. They're calling it a harsh crackdown. You see, Sri Lanka needs a political solution to this crisis. Tear gas cannot solve it. Neither can emergency provisions. Later this week, Sri Lanka's leaders have a chance to do exactly that, elect a new president. And 3 names are doing the rounds. The first is Ranil Wickrenesinghe himself. He comes with a wealth of experience in government, but the problem is he does not have public support. Remember, it was his house that was set on fire by protesters. Will they accept him as president now? Chances are they won't. The second name is Dulas Alaha Peruma. He's a senior lawmaker of the ruling party, the SLPP, which is a party of the Rajapaksas. Going by numbers, he has a good chance. His party still holds majority in parliament. The final name is Sajith Premadasa. He was Gotabaya Rajapaksa's rival in the 2019 election. His big plus point, zero experience in government. Premadasa is not part of the Sri Lankan establishment, so the public may accept his leadership. And he has promised to be more responsive than his predecessors. In fact, he's calling for fresh elections.
We need a fresh electoral mandate. The mere manipulations taking place within Parliament would not suffice. We need a fresh mandate and we need to go for elections.
Wednesday, July 20th, that's D-Day for Sri Lanka. The Parliament will elect the new president by secret ballot. And whoever wins will complete Gotabaya's remaining term, which is until 2024. But here's a bigger question. Should Sri Lanka stick with the executive presidency, or should the president be reduced to a nominal head of state, like in India or Bangladesh? Let me tell you what an opinion poll found. 70% of the respondents wanted to abolish the executive presidency. Only 15% want to retain it. What does that tell you? The people want a complete overhaul. They want an accountable and inclusive government, not an elected king. That is what the Rajapaksas were in Sri Lanka, an elected monarchy. So to prevent a repeat, Sri Lanka needs systemic reforms. By Wednesday, we'll have more clarity on that. For now, let's focus on the economic situation. Has it improved since Gotabaya left? Well, a bit of yes and no. New shipments of oil have arrived in Sri Lanka, so the fuel prices have been cut. Both petrol and diesel are now cheaper by 20 rupees. That's around $0.05 US. Also, the IMF talks are nearing their end. If Sri Lanka can strike a bailout deal with the IMF, their recovery can begin. And how long will it take? Perhaps years. The central bank is expecting the economy to shrink by 6% in 2022. Rebounding from that is going to take time, patience and leadership, which means keeping the likes of Gotabaya out. Why do I say that? Because reports say he's planning a comeback. Believe it or not, Gotabaya is in Singapore right now, but he's allegedly plotting a return in August. Reports say he'll be given the official residence, a pension, and also adequate security, everything that is entitled to a former president. But at this point, it looks highly unlikely. Just think about it. Protesters breached his presidential mansion. They ransacked his personal belongings. How safe will he be if he returns? Chances are he won't make it out of the airport. So reports of Gotabaya's return at this point may be far-fetched. I'll tell you what's not. The return of Gotabaya's style of politics. Authoritarian, corrupt and divisive. That style is what landed Sri Lanka in this mess. To stop it from happening again, Sri Lanka must tackle the root problem. The executive presidency is a good place to start, we say. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.